Greetings, fam. This is Ron Wills about that business. Creating a customer base for your store. Now, in the last video, I talked about scouting locations and all of that good stuff, right? Now, let's say you follow Ron's advice, you took the time to do your due diligence, and you checked out different locations, and you found a good location, right? Now, you also took Rom's advice and you give good customer service, right? But you gotta go beyond that. When you go into that business, you gotta think about creating a community around your business, right? Now, as I said in the previous video, I learned a lot of stuff from just business owners. And, I picked their brains. Now, I remember when I was one of the many gyms I've worked in, right? The general manager, not general manager, assistant manager, and she called the people who were members of the gym. She said it was a community. And that always stuck with me. Because if you really look at really good businesses that have some longevity, some of the best businesses are the ones that also have a community. Think about one example that we all know about, the barbershop. Yeah, the barbershop. Now, a barbershop, right? That's a great example. Because if you think about it, right? You got a bunch of guys, they sitting there and they talking about everything. Politics, religion, women, maybe business, depending on where it's at. But what it is, the barbers there making that money, but they're also facilitating the coming together of community. Same thing. Maybe it might not be a barbershop, beauty salon. Those are real communities. Those women being there for like 7-8 hours sometime, getting that hair put in their head. Yeah, I said it. But that's a community. When you get people, they start coming together, they start interacting beyond the owner of the store. That's a community. A bookstore. I use a bookstore in the thumbnail. That's a community. People come in there, they start interacting. But it's a community. Now, say we use the example of selling t-shirts. You're probably thinking, well, how can you create a community there? Well, what it is a community centered around the workers in the store, the owner of the store, if they're there most of the time. You get to know people. After a while, you find out about their families and everything. Also, in how you do business with them. Because what you'll do, you got some new stuff coming in. If you're really a good business person, you give them a call and say, hey, we got some stuff coming in. What you like, we'll put it to the side for you. Let you check it out. Boom, they come in. Especially in clothing stores. Because you got people very knowledgeable. They got their clients. Like any good salesperson in any store will have specific clients. And they'll call them up. It's actually taught at many retail stores to do that. But you want to do it as a small business person to really create a loyal fan base. Because especially in something like clothing. I'm just using that as an example. But with clothing, right? A lot of people don't know how to dress. A lot of men especially don't know how to dress. So, you start hooking them up. And it could be anything. Like I said, anything. Because if you notice with a lot of stores, sometimes you get some people, they just come in just to peruse and all of that. But every now and then they'll buy something. So, the key, though, is always the community. Think you creating a community around whatever store you have. Even if you got a kiosk, you can still create a community. You get people going to come there regularly and talk to you and all of that. Now, it's more than just creating a community around yourself, but to the extent that you can do it, become involved in the community, right? Like I used to work for this store that sold African clothing and sculptures and stuff like that. The owner would give fashion shows sometime, and have local people in the fashion show. And so, they immediately, the owner, she was becoming a part of the community, the greater community. Not just the community centered around her store, but the community centered, the greater community. And see, that creates good relations. That's good relationships. And that's good. Those are customers. And yeah, ultimately your bottom line in business is money. But your business, you got to think about, okay, what value am I giving other than having some products? And what value can I give to keep them coming back to buy the products? Other than the obvious of customer service, people come back for communities. Like I said, it's a little bit harder with some selling products like clothing or whatever, electronics or anything like that. It's harder. But it can be, you just have to work harder to do it. Now, those other communities like a barbershop, beauty salons, or cafes, bookstores when they existed in greater numbers. Like I missed the days of like the small independent bookstore. I mean, there's a few still around, but it's dying off. Everybody buying their stuff online or something. Like one thing I said I'm going to do when I retire, when I reach my 80s, right? Yeah, it'll be my 80s. I'm not going to really retire, but I'm just going to get a little bookstore and dispense wisdom. I'm going to sell some books occasionally too, but since I'll be a multi-millionaire then anyway, I won't need to make money with the bookstore, but just come in and just have a little community of people. I always dreaming. I always had that vision. Because it goes beyond just the money or, what you're doing for the community. You basically want to turn your business, especially certain businesses, into sort of an institution where everybody's going to come, And I know we've on the other channel, I had a video talking about automation, and I know that's a big deal coming with people who are more into more serious subjects on this social media we have here, right? But the thing about a community, people always want to interact. They always want to interact with each other. And by providing a space where they can do it, you not only doing a great thing, but it can be lucrative. So it's like when you're thinking about making money, and I'll probably do a separate video on the whole concept, you want to think not just in terms of making the money, but what service are you providing? And in this case, specific to this video, you providing a place where a community can be formed. So really think about that. That's how, you want to create that customer base, and you want to think in terms of community. Like you go in and just thinking, okay, who's going to come in here? Who's going to be the regular customers, especially if you're a hands-on owner. And even if you're not, say you got enough money, you got a few locations. You talk to your folks, say, look, create a community in there. And there's some big stores that realize this too, like major stores. They'll have their people that come to them, will only buy from them. That's really a community too. Even if it's centered on like certain salespeople. So, I want y'all to think about what I'm saying. And you know what? As always, let's go get that money. Or let's go make that money. I got to figure out how I'm going to say that like last phrase just right. Let's go make that money. Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.